What is going on, guys? Trollking here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Drawface. And in today's video, we're going over probably the best Darius deck out there. Yeah, so I was watching a tournament hosted by Rift Labs, and Prismaticism, I believe his name is called, constructed this awesome Darius deck that I just had to play. And I've been having a lot of fun playing with it, so I just wanted to showcase it because it's probably like the best way to play red yellow right now. Honestly, it's I played a little bit of Darius before and I just wasn't really happy with what I came up with, but you know, baited hook is a thing, and this deck showcases it extremely well. But before we get into the deck list, if you haven't already, please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate your support, and you automatically enter yourself to win a Proving Grounds box set if we reach 500 subscribers. So click a button and you might win something. I'm pretty excited about this deck, so let's go straight into it. All right, so we are running a Darius, right? Obviously, it is a Darius deck, Hand of Noxus. The Legend ability is at reaction speed. You can add one rune, but it is a Legion ability, so you really need to play something before, right? Then you get an extra rune just for doing that by tapping Darius. Makes you go fast, makes you go hard, can make you go wide too with some of the combos that you can go on here. But it is like a really cool like Legend ability. Yeah, you do have to play two things in one turn, but we can mitigate that by playing like really cheap stuff and or playing seals as well. So with yeah, we're pretty familiar with Darius by now. We're pretty familiar with all the legends that they do. Going into the runes, we are running 8 of Order, right, and 4 of Fury. The battlefields are Trifarian War Camp. Units here have +1. There's a lot of combos that make this deck go very wide, so that always helps. The arena's greatest. At the start of each player's beginning phase, that player gains 1 point. 2 reasons. We want just to get as fast as possible. Also helps with Draven, which is also in the deck. And also, a lot of control decks are now playing Aspirant's Climb, right? That makes the game winning 0.9. And this kind of just like cancels that out so that it won't, because we want to go like pretty wide, pretty fast, and we want to be like super aggressive to kind of take those battlefields. But when the game stretches out like longer, you kind of like, it starts to like fall behind basically, right? So it is like in a mid-range build, so we kind of just want to make sure that we're getting to the end of the game as fast as possible. Candlelight Sanctum is a really good card for this deck. Battlefield, Battlefield. When you control here, look at the top 2 cards of your main deck. You may recycle one or both of them. Put those you don't back in any order. So the issue is that there are like really cool combos. It's not just based off baited hook and Spectral Matron, right? There's a lot of things you can do, but sometimes you just have to make sure you have all the pieces for the combos, and this battlefield really helps out. The fact that you can just take the top 2, recycle them, or organize them in any way that you can draw them immediately, very good. We are running only one of the Darius Trifarian, the champion unit. 5 energy, 1 power for 5 might. When you play your second card in the turn, give me +2 this turn and ready me. So really strong, right? The fact that it gets 7. And it has this weird static ability where you can play this as your second card, like, for example, after a seal. And it acts as its own, like, second card. So it does count for itself. So if you play a seal and then Darius, this enters ready with 7 might. Very cool. More than likely, you'll be able to take a battlefield from your opponent by then. It is a Legion deck, right? So we are running seals because they are essentially almost free. We do have to float one, recycle one, but you get it that turn with the seal. You can play it right away. And it just triggers like Legion abilities like very efficiently. So we are running 3 of them. The reason not the other one is because like we are more committed to order, so yellow power energy costs than red. So that's why we're running these. Cleave, also like a really good like aggressive card for 1 rune, right? You give a unit assault 3, which means like they do have to be moving in on a battlefield. They can't be defending, so that's one very key important thing to know about the card. Other than that, 1 rune, you can trigger Legion effects. Like you do the 1 rune, you can tap your Darius, you can play something else, and you're moving in with possibly 6 might, 5 might if you're a Poro or any other type of cards. Just a really nice little battle trick, right? Very good. Triggers with Legion essentially well. Hidden Blade, you know, there are those decks set big dudes, and you just want to like hide something on there to make sure you're holding, scoring some points. It does kill a thing. We could also play it in our favor as well. We can kill off a recruit, or if we're like desperately need some like card advantage, trigger something on our side of the battlefield, and then in order to draw cards. You know, obviously we're running the seals, so you can just tap a seal and put a Hidden Blade onto a battlefield, and it's just really good. One of the best removals in the game, honestly. Attack Poro. It is a Riftbound deck, so we run Poros because Poros are awesome. So this is the Attack Poro, or Assault Poro, if you will. 2 energy, 2 might, and it gets +1 while it's an attacker. You mix that up with Cleave, it becomes a 6 might unit going into a battlefield. So like pretty strong. We're going to be briefly switching, moving around with certain cards just because I want to like showcase the different combos that you can do. But first, let's look at Trifarian Glory Seeker, right? 2 energy, 2 might. Legion, when you play me, buff me. You know, if it doesn't have a buff, it can get a buff, a +1 buff. And it is Legion ability, so you have to play another card before it. You know, turn 1, you can play a Seal, and then you can play a Trifarian Glory Seeker. You have a 3 might unit. Yeah, so it's just really easy, and by tapping Darius, you can maybe play something else. It's just really good. Faithful Manufacturer. We want to play recruits, and we'll go over that in a second. There's this cool combo with Baited Hook, trust me. When you play me, play a 1 recruit unit token here. Very standard, we know it. 3 energy, 2 might. It's basically 3 for 3 with a recruit. You know, if you tend to go wide, the Battlefield and Trifarian War Camp works in your favor, obviously. And it, you know, it's just, yeah, it's just good, you know, because there's things you could target with in Baited Hook. So the bread and butter of this deck, this card, when this card came out, right, I thought it wasn't going to be like amazing. I thought it wasn't even going to see any play, but Prismaticism put it in the deck and made it work to the point where it's just like really fun to play. It's like so many cool combos, so many cool things you could do. So let's read the card for a second. It is a gear, right? For 3 energy, 1 rune, 1 power, kill a friendly unit. Look at the top 5 cards of your main deck. You may play a unit from among them that has might up to 1 more than the killed unit, ignoring its cost. Then recycle the rest. So let's look at the combo real quick. You have Baited Hook on field, right? You Legion in a Vanguard Captain. That's just like one of the combos, right? Legion triggers, right? You can either play a Seal, right? Play this, then you get your 2 units, right? Your 2 recruits. Then you Baited Hook it, sacrificing it. Look at the top 5 cards. You are essentially looking for either a Kaisa can happen or a Spectral Matron. Spectral Matron reads, it is a 4 energy, 2 power, 4 might. When you play me, you may play a unit costing no more than 3 and no more than 1 power from your trash, ignoring its cost. Well, what unit has 3 energy and no more than 1 power? Well, it is the Vanguard Captain, right? So you can bounce back and forth. So let's just look at how many units. You Legion in this, right? You have 3 units. You're sacrificing 1, right, with Baited Hook. You get down to 2. Spectral Matron comes out from the end effect of Baited Hook. You have 3. And then Spectral Matron effect triggers, and then you're targeting the Vanguard Captain, which you just sent to your trash. So you have 6 units on board with like just a cool little combo, and it feels so good doing it. Trust me, guys, you're gonna love it. Also, like right along with that, there's other things you could do. You could sacrifice a recruit. It is a 1 might unit, right? In order to get a vein out. And then if a unit, or your opponent, I'm sorry, has a unit out of battlefield, it enters ready, and it has Assault 3. So for sacrificing just 1 recruit, you get a 5 might unit going into the battlefield. That's really strong. You can also combo like a Cleave, then you have 8 might. Like it's just insane, dude. Like it has such consistency. And sacrificing Vanguard Captain also, if you don't target the Spectral Matron, if it's not one of the top 5 cards, you know, you can play a Kaisa as well. Like the criterion for the card to be summoned is there, and 4 might. You can accelerate it. You can move in on a battlefield as well. With the other ones, with Trifarian Glory Seeker, 2 might, Poro, 2 might, and Faithful Manufacturer, also 2 might. You can cheat out with Baited Hook a Draven. Now, people don't play this card because, honestly, it's not too good for what it's cost. But if you're cheating it out, right, its might is increased by the amount of points you have. So the fact that we're running a very aggressive deck in almost like a mid-rangey, right, we want to score some points. Also, it's already going to be a 3 might unit, even if you're not scoring points, right? So the fact that you're sacrificing 2 for 3 is already good, right? It's not bad. It's better than it was before. And the more you hold, the more you conquer, the bigger it gets, and it does become a threat. The one spell we didn't go over is back to back, right? Clean 3 energy cost spell at reaction speed. Give 2 friendly units each +2 this turn. So the reason we put this in the deck is because like decks like Ari and or Yi, right? They have on guards, they have discipline, they have things that just like buff the units or minus your units down. They play smoke screens and stuff like that. Sometimes if you're moving into the battlefield with some units, because we do tend to go wide, giving that +2 for only like 3 runes is really safe and usually contests the showdown. So that's where we're running that in the main deck. Other than that, we are running Grand Stratagem. You guys know this card. Game-winning card. If you do tend to be sacrificing the units and having a bunch of recruits down, you're popping off with Spectral Matron, you're popping off with Vanguard Captain. Move in with Grand Stratagem as kind of like a backup plan for the recruits that you have at base, right? And kind of just take both battlefields and try to win the game from there. We do have a concise sideboard, which we'll talk about really briefly. Dazzling Aurora is a deck with Misfortune, anything Volibear, anything orange, usually runs Dazzling Aurora, and we run Salvage in our sideboard just to get rid of it, and that's it. You kill a gear and you draw 1. Call of the Week, to counter more like set decks, right? So, you know, we do have recruits, right? Those are the things that we'll probably be sacrificing. Also, if we don't have any units, even better, but essentially, like for Call of the Week, we want to be using it to remove units on their side if it's set before it gets buffed, right? So if they're playing like really aggressively, very fast. Also, like it counters like anything from Dazzling Aurora. If Dazzling Aurora pops down, right, and they get that unit, your turn you can Call the Week, and just like they only have 1 unit there, so gets rid of it very well. It's just like really good removal, you know, and you do need to kill something. Usually it's going to be a recruit, but if your side of the field is empty, which it shouldn't be, but if it is, then, you know, you just win either way. We are running the other Darius as well in our sideboard, mainly for, like, the matchup against Victor, right? Basically, in that matchup, you would want to go wider than they do, right? Or if not as wide, try to keep up with them. And then instead of, because a lot of the Victor decks don't run Siphon Power anymore, right? They just run Grand Stratagem. So this Darius, like, gives your recruits and your other units +1. As long as they're with him. It's just really good. Contest their side of the board with their recruits, because Grand Stratagem, they're only going to be playing on their turn instead of reaction with Siphon Power. So, yeah, it's just mainly meant for that matchup. And then for a Kaisa matchup, we're running Bryn here, Thundersong, or any type of like Lux, or maybe even Annie, or maybe even Ari, you know. So this card, 6 energy, 5 might. When you play me, opponents can't play cards this turn. So, obviously, if you see a lot of runes on their side open, you pop this down, and then you're pretty much safe to do what you want to do, right? So you shouldn't have to worry too much. But that is it for the deck list. Guys, like, seriously, try it out. Like, even if you are not a Darius player, I find it very important that you play decks that you won't necessarily main, just so you know, like, what to do if you ever come across that matchup. But this one is special. This one you should definitely try out. Shout out to Prismaticism, I think that's his name, for coming in second in the tournament at Rift Lab with this deck. I was rooting for you the whole entire time after you crushed those Ys. So with that being said, thanks guys for watching. The gameplay is coming up. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Once we reach 500 subscribers, as said before, I'll be giving away a Proving Grounds box set. Hit a button, win a thing, and thank you just very much for your continued support. The comments have been awesome. Your feedback has been very well received, and thank you guys so much. I hope you all have a wonderful day and enjoy the gameplay. Peace. What is up, guys? Now I got my weird jazzy voice as a commentator. So going into the gameplay. Yep, so we're running Darius in this game. We're going against Lee Sin. As you can see, we got our seal. By the way, the gameplay is sped up by 2 times because there was just, I was kind of like helping him figure out some things with Lee Sin, so there was a lot of discussion going on. But other than that, like, this matchup is actually really good against Lee Sin. Like, granted, like, they do get big with the buffs that he can do, right? However, we just go wide and just very aggressive. So we have a seal, we have a Vanguard Captain, we have a Hidden Blade, and Trifaring Glory Seeker into our hand. He does play a Meditation on his turn. Now, if you ever see that, guys, then by all means, go all in. Turn 1 Meditation just to draw a card dictates that they have nothing in hand, that playable at least. So as you can see here, I'm going in hard. We played a seal, Legion ability triggers for Darius, we get an extra rune, and we play our Vanguard Captain in order to get 2 recruits. The quintessential turn 1, extremely strong. We're developing 4 might through 3 units, and we developed the seal on board to mitigate the cost, power cost in the future. Really strong turn. So moving over to our opponent, he does decide to tap 4, develops a Sunlit Guardian. So that defense is going to be like a little tricky, but the thing is, we've gone wide enough to where we should be okay. We top deck a Kaisa, and we have enough runes to play it. So based off Trifaring War Camp and the Monastery of Hirana, I decide to move in, right? So I have 4 might there. So if he decides to go in with his Guardian, right, he only has 3 might. And then I believe I was considering about hiding the Hidden Blade, which I think I eventually do. But with the Kaisa in my hand and an open battlefield, like, I just really wanted to do that. So I play it. Legion triggers, right? So I can accelerate, kind of just like accelerate with the Legion ability from Darius. It moves in. He does charm it back into base, so he is playing a little more defensively. And it kind of like spoils my plans. However, that's okay because I tapped my seal in order to hide a Hidden Blade on the battlefield with the recruits. So still being extremely aggressive. This is what this deck does. It doesn't necessarily need Baited Hook to pop off, but it is just like the sweet spot of the deck that you need. I believe I do the Baited Hook combo in this gameplay. I was recording so many things, I forgot which one actually was the good game. So, but anyway, so he readies on his side. He gets another Sunlit Guardian. He buffs it with his Lee Sin, moves in there. It is at 4, and then defending it will be at 5. So, really good on his end. That's a really good holding position with Sunlit Guardian. I think Sunlit Guardian is just better than Wielder of Water, because Wielder of Water, like, it's just susceptible to some spells. Now we have our Kaisa ready, we have our Vanguard Captain ready, we have a Cleave in hand, very, very good. We can always play it, right? So we move in. Before the showdown happens, we commit to a Cleave. Does he have any responses? I believe the answer is no. So, wait, no, he did have another, what was it? What did he play? I think he stunned me. Yeah, he stunned me, or yeah, because charm, yeah, so he did stun me, which is terrible. I think it was a Rune Prison, I believe. But yeah, those are the things that your opponent has to pull in order just to kind of hold, right? So they are wasting resources for us being so aggressive. So we develop a Darius then, right, after we moved in, because we wanted to see what he wanted to do, because he did have some runes open. Darius acts as his own second card, since we played the Cleave, and it goes in with a 7 might, so easily should be able to kill the Sunlit Guardian. It does. We do score a point for the Conquer, and it's just very 2 consistent turns. We are shutting down everything that they're throwing at us, and so on his turn, he's gonna do like a lot of thinking right now, trying to figure out what happens, or what's the best form of play. Holding the battlefields with a hidden card, and then holding the other one with the Darius. It is at 5 might now. There are things that he could do. Lee Sin is still very dangerous, so by just tapping one, he buffs, right? And he develops the Shield Poro. Then I believe he switches back over after playing so he does play the first mate, readying the Poro, but I think he just wanted to develop his board because there's something. Oh, and then he actually does decide to move in by Trifaring War Camp. So the thing is, he does have more might because he has 2 units on deck. However, we do reveal the Hidden Blade taking care of the Sunlit Guardian. And then after that, we have more might because of the Trifarian War Camp, which is why the battlefield is in the deck. So, one recruit does die. However, we still get to hold onto the battlefield. Switches over to our turn. We top deck a Vayne, something we want to see more so with Baited Hook, but also still playable in certain situations, right? I'm looking through my trash just to kind of see what I can pop off with Spectral Matron. Nothing really too crazy to do here. Legion effect is kind of awkward. It is a high cost, and I don't want to waste too much power. However, I decided to move in to support the recruit a little bit with the Vanguard Captain. Also, if it does die, right, I can always Spectral Matron it to bring it back. I decide to move in, or I do not actually. I decide to kind of hold back the Kaisa because I want to be able to play it as a Conquering effect, right, to draw that card. I decided to develop a Vayne, right, just because I have the power and I just want to like establish my presence on board. I do Legion effect, the Trifarian Glory Seeker, right, so it gets a buff. Now switching back over to his turn, he's kind of just trying to figure out what he could do, and he plays a card I believe in this turn that I've never actually had to interact with. It's like the signature spell. Was it like a Dragon's Rage or something? I think we'll see it in just 1 second. He does have some options. His hand is at 3. Well, no, but he does decide to develop his Lee Sin. And I think in this instance he kind of clicked wrong. Exactly. So Lee Sin's on board. It's a little scary. However, I just don't think it's enough, really. He does move in onto the battlefield. Does take it from me, from what if I remember correctly. Yeah, so we're just doing the math here with the Trifarian War Camp, right? So he's at 4, 2. That is at 5 with the buff, and then Lee Sin is at 7 plus the other 2 if a unit is buffed. So more than enough to take the battlefield from me. Making sure I don't put the recruit into my trash, which I always do. Then on my turn, I'm sitting at 5. He's sitting at 2 points. I have a Vayne that goes in for 5 with Assault plus 3, right? And I can pop it back into my hand if I really want to and commit to conquering it on the other battlefield as well, moving in the Kaisa and so forth. However, the Darius seems fine there. I decided to hardcast a Hidden Blade because I just needed to get rid of Lee Sin. It gave the +2 to the first mate, and it's just too strong of a card to like left unchecked, if you know what I mean. So I decided to move my, I believe, Kaisa in. No, okay. So I do move in the Vayne because of the +3. Sorry, the 3 assault. I conquer there. I score my point. In a good position to double hold. I decide to use its effect. Actually, no, I decide not to. No, I decide to. I decide to not use its effect to put it back in hand, just in case, right, of a situation where he takes back the board. It's not really wasting any runes. I have plenty of resources to deal with, right? So I move in my Kaisa there. Technically, I already conquered with Vayne, so I don't get the card draw. However, that's okay, just as long as something is on the board for the double hold next turn for the win. I'm tapping runes in the Legion and for Spectral Matron, right? So the Vanguard Captain is dead, which is why Spectral Matron is so good, seriously. And I decide to move in on the other battlefield with Spectral Matron because you can just play it, right? And then it develops the 2 recruits. I am sitting at a very, very, very safe position. I have 8 might there. I have a Darius at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 might on the other side, plus the things, and then he kind of just gives up. And we're just talking about of like what things could he have done, basically. He's just gonna. Oh no, wait, I'm sorry. It's not over yet. He does Discipline and Dragon's Rage. I'm sorry. Move an enemy unit. Choose another enemy unit as its destination. Yeah, that's the card I've never had an interaction with, which is so weird. So what he was trying to do, I remember now. He was trying to move the Kaisa over. to kill the Darius. The thing is, it was sitting at a 5. However, when the Kaisa moves out of Trifarian war camp, it goes down to 4, and it doesn't kill. So he was just trying to figure out, because he wanted to discipline my unit, right, so that they both died. But because of Trifarian war camp, it was always like 1 off, to the point where it wasn't enough to kill both units, just the 1. And without killing both units, he couldn't take 1 battlefield away from me, was what he was discussing. So unfortunately, in that instance, he does hand over the game to me. I do get the double hold, and I do win. I didn't pop off with Baited Hook, however. Like you can see, this deck is just really good, really fast, goes really hard, and even hard casting Spectral Matron is something that's really, really strong. So by all means, guys, try it out. I think it is a really cool deck. I think you guys will have a lot of fun with it. Other than that, thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your feedback. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace!